Hey there, coffee lovers. Logan here, professional barista for MajestyCoffee.com. Today we're discussing what's going to be the best grinder for your cafe. Let's get started. Alright, so let's jump right into talking about what type of grinder you want to buy for your specific cafe. We'll begin by breaking this down into a few different topics. The first of which is going to be your burr size. Depending on your specific volume of cafe, will directly equate to what size burr you should be looking to get in your new grinder. If you have a fairly low to medium volume cafe, you can go with a smaller burr size, and if you have a larger volume cafe, then you're going to want to go with a larger burr size, specifically to have that extra surface area to be able to grind more beans. This will also equate to less friction and less heat as you're using this to grind your shots. For instance, if you're a high volume cafe and you go with a smaller burr size, your grinder will overheat and lead to more inconsistencies in grind size and also more clumping. Eventually you may get a completely different dose out or actually end up clogging your grinder, which will lead to many more problems down the road. If you're unsure how busy your cafe is or how busy it's going to be when it opens, you want to err on the side of going with a larger burr just to be safe, or you can also go with multiple grinders. In most cafes, going with a larger burr size will be ideal, though you can use smaller burrs specifically for single origins or decaf beans, depending on how popular those are at your location. So once you've figured out what size burr you need for your cafe, you want to look at the overall interface of the grinder. For instance, some grinders come with really nice control panels, such as the Mazzer Super Jolly pictured here. There's a very simple setup up top here, where you have a single double dose button, a continuous dosing button, menu, and a plus and minus. These are very easy to use, soft to the touch, and your baristas will really appreciate this design. Other grinders, such as the Simonelli MDH, pictured here on my other side, are going to be a lot simpler in their interface. This machine doesn't have any digital buttons. Instead, they've opted for going with manual controls, which are really nice because they won't break as easily. Another example of a different interface is going to be the Mahlkönig X54. The X54 features an LED display and a dial to control that. So you're going to be flipping through all of the different options versus the Mazzer, where you can simply click on the different options. Another example of a different type of interface would be the Eureka Mignon Specialita, which is actually a touchscreen interface. While this is really nice because it's very simple to press, it can be a little difficult if your hands are wet or dirty. So this is something to keep in mind. Depending on the speed of your cafe, if you're a very busy cafe, you'll probably want to opt for a simpler interface. The next topic we're going to go over is actually your hopper size. This may seem fairly obvious, but there are a few different routes to go when choosing your hopper size. If your cafe errs on the side of being very busy, you may decide you want a larger hopper size, such as the Mazzer Super Jolly's 2.7 pound hopper. However, even if you're a larger volume cafe, there are some benefits to going with a smaller hopper, or even a single dosing machine. Using a smaller hopper or a single doser allows you to use less beans and cycle through different types of roasts, single origins, etc. While you will be having to do more dialing in on the spot, it will give you more control over that grind size and your overall parameters. Smaller hoppers and single dosers are very nice if you're going to be using different types of beans and different recipes throughout the day. The next thing you'd like to consider is going to be the dosing method. While machines like the Super Jolly come with this chamber, but do a single dose on demand, there are other grinders that will have a chamber where you can grind into that chamber, allowing you to have more grounds available on demand. The downside to this is going to be if you're grinding all at once, your beans won't be the freshest that they could possibly be. Versus with this single dosing, you'll get a consistent and fresh grind every time. Smaller grinders tend to use just a simple chute, allowing less room from the actual burr set to your dosing method, such as a portafilter or a dosing cup. A smaller chute is a nice design because it leads to less friction within and less inconsistencies in your grind. This is going to mean between your doses, you'll see less difference in your weight out. Another thing to keep in mind when purchasing an espresso grinder is how easily you can access your burr set. While this might not seem important, every night you're actually going to want to do a cleaning to ensure that your grinder stays as clean and consistent in dose as possible. With machines such as the Super Jolly, it's very easy to access your burr set as well as your inner grind chamber. The X54 is another great machine with an easy access to your burrs. The more complicated it is to access your burrs and grind chamber, the less likely it is that you'll get a full cleaning done in a timely manner. So just keeping this in mind is a good thing to do, as your employees may be less motivated to clean your machines if it's more difficult to access the inside. Let's now discuss the actual way we're going to be adjusting our grind size, which is a very important topic to discuss. Some grinders will use clicks and numbers to control your grind size, while others, such as all three pictured here, will use micrometric adjustments. Between these three machines, there are a few differences when it comes to adjusting those micrometric steps. On the Super Jolly pictured here, there's a really nice large collar that you control with a handle to dial in your espresso. The MDH and X54 will actually use a dial to control that micrometric adjustment. Using all of these different types of micrometric adjustments, though I do really enjoy the Mazzer Super Jolly because it's really simple to use and very large, allowing you to see the numbers clearly, as well as allowing you to choose a number and let your coworkers know where exactly you're dialed in at. Lastly, let's discuss the different methods of actually grinding into your portafilter, dosing cup, etc. With the Mazzer Super Jolly, you have this really nice fork here that is built into the machine and also has a handle holder at the end, making sure that your portafilter doesn't slip out of place. The trade-off here being if you're using some sort of dosing cup or wanting to use this for batch brew, it's a little bit more difficult, so this is pretty much exclusively an espresso grinder that you want to use a portafilter to grind into. With the Nuova Simonelli MDH grinder, you actually have an adjustable fork, which is very nice for adjusting up and down and will actually hold your portafilter into place, making sure it won't slide around or fall out while grinding, and you can do hands-free. The X54 is a really cool hybrid where you can actually swap out the different adjustments. So you can put in a dosing cup if you'd like to do drip coffees, French press, etc., or you can switch it out for a fork, allowing you to place your portafilter into it. So the Mazzer Super Jolly has these really nice 64mm flat steel burrs that are going to give you a lot of surface area and won't overheat as quickly as a smaller set of grinder burrs. The MDH from Nuova Simonelli uses 50mm flat steel burrs, and the X54 uses 54mm flat steel burrs. So most cafe grinders will be using flat steel burrs, but keep in mind the differences in size there, as that will be very important when it comes to grinding and consistency. All of these machines are fairly quick when grinding, though you will want to keep in mind if you're grinding back-to-back shots, machines with a smaller burr set will overheat quicker than machines with a larger burr set. So my takeaway here today is to assess your cafe's situation and decide what you need based on your volume and specific needs when it comes to dialing in your espresso or espressos. Keep in mind we have a large array of grinders such as these and many more on our website, so make sure to go there after the video to check those out. We've got plenty more machines from Mazzer, Nuova Simonelli, and Mahlkönig, as well as many more brands of really great grinders. So if one of these three grinders doesn't fit your specific needs, fear not, because we have a lot more grinders like these on our website. So I hope I've helped you figure out which grinder may be best for you and your cafe. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one. After that, head on over to majestycoffee.com to find machines like these three and many more espresso machines and grinders. Our friendly customer support is standing by via live chat or phone to help you make the right decision. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.